Hey guys, what's up? I got another pack. Woo! This one is special. This is not just any pack. I actually use this pack as my primary EDC, and I've used it now for the last year and a half. This is the Optimal Threadworks pack, and it's, like I said, pretty special. What makes this pack really unique is that it's not in any way compromising for me. It really has a perfect mix of all the elements that make a great EDC pack for me. So I want to discuss why this pack is so good and why I don't see myself honestly switching to anything else in terms of an EDC pack in the near future. That's how good this thing is. So disclaimer, I actually purchased this bag myself. I've been using it for the last year and a half, like I said. And I will mention that Elias, who actually makes these packs, he's an awesome dude and great pack maker. We've been going back and forth as for the design of this pack, and it's gone through some iterations over time. He's a solo pack maker, and he makes these packs by hand. So it's a really small operation, but the quality is top notch. He's a real artisan. So what I love about this pack is that you can really tell that it's had that sort of love and care. It doesn't feel like a factory pack. It really feels like a pack that had effort and thought that went into it, and then it was made kind of this was actually technically sort of a custom. I mean, it has some features that are custom, I would say. It's pretty similar to what he has on offer generally, but there are certain features that I'll point out that are unique to me in this pack, and there is an ability to get custom packs from him. So if you need any specific tweaks, you can contact Elias, and I'll link his Instagram, I believe, is what he likes to use for selling. I've been encouraging him to do a website, and hopefully maybe that will happen. But this is really, like I said, a small one-man operation as of now, and maybe one day it'll expand. Honestly, with the quality of these packs, I don't see why not. I really think that he deserves all the kudos for making such a great quality pack. So what exactly is this, first of all? I mean, on its face, it's just a simple black pack. And I know that sounds like a little bit of a, you'd think, oh, it's just a black pack, what's so special? I mean, there's a lot of black packs, right? But what's interesting about this pack is that it doesn't come across as being that unique when you just look at it. You know what I mean? It just looks like another bag. Like if I'm wearing this on my back, it just kind of just looks like a regular, typical bag. Like if you're just walking down the street, you're not grabbing a lot of attention with this pack. You know what I'm saying? However, like I said, the build quality, the comfort, and just the layout of the bag it's durable, and it's well built, but it's also smart and simple. So it's sort of like you're getting a really high quality pack without attracting the attention of like a GoRuck or a pack that's like instantly recognizable. Yeah, it's kind of hard to explain, but it has this like blend where on the one hand, Elias, the pack maker, he's an outdoorsy kind of guy. There's some tactical influences to this pack, but not a lot, just enough where it has the ruggedness, where kind of GoRuck is influenced from that world as well. So it has that resemblance, like an LBT pack or certain brands, right, that have this like tactical influence. But then there's also this sort of general sort of outdoorsy influence as well. And it also just has like a casual vibe to it at the same time too. So I don't know, all this to say, it's just, for me, the aesthetic just works. It's like a simple pack that just secretly works. I've always been into stuff that are kind of secretly better, right? They're not actually obviously better. You're not like walking around. It's, like I'm not into like driving like a Rolls Royce, I'm not into things that are like, look at me, I'm into things that are simple, that look simple, but when you actually dig a little deeper, you realize, oh, this is good, right? For example, this shirt, right? It just looks like a brown whatever shirt, but when you actually dig in, it's a smart wool merino, it's got high quality, you can run in it, you can do things in it, it regulates your temperature, right? But you wouldn't think on face value that it's such a great shirt. You just see another brown shirt. Kind of like that, you know? It just looks like a pack, doesn't look that special, but when you actually dig into it, it really is a great pack. So, first of all, the material is Cordura, okay? Just simple. I believe it's the, I want to say that 500D? Gosh, I should have found that. It's rugged, but it's not 1,000. I think it might be 500. I think it's rugged, but it's not yeah, it's not crazy, you know what I mean? But it's got that feel where it's nice and kind of rugged, you know? Like it feels very durable, but also not like overly built either, you know? The pack actually has, it's a clamshell pack primarily, so it actually will open right here in the middle, and I'll get to that with the GoPro. I'll show you guys exactly how it opens and everything, but it basically opens in the middle. And it also has two primary front pockets. So we have this one here, right, where it's like a nice deep pocket, and then it has this one up here where it's more just another pocket as well. So yeah, it's basically a pretty simple layout. Now we have here a handle, and the handle is sort of folded over Cordura, so pretty pretty straightforward. Kind of, it's a decent handle. There is a previous version that Elias made, and that one actually had a more robust, kind of a really padded, kind of a. This is the old Optimal Threadworks pack, and he no longer makes this design. This one resembles a few other packs on the market, but ultimately he wanted to update the pack to be a little bit more unique to him and to make it a little bit. To fit a little more, to make it a little roomy. So this was a little bit more like a 16 liter. This is really more like a 19, 20 liter, maybe even 21. Nah, probably more like a 20. Anyway, okay, so why did I show you this? Okay, so this used to be padded, but so this has like actual padding inside of it and stuff. So this was a really lovely, and I kind of wish he kept that, but it works. I got used to it. You know what I mean? It's still. It has nice feeling to it. It's not the most soft and padded, but it has enough that it feels just satisfying enough without adding bulk. So that's what makes this this handle pretty decent. I mean, I really feel like it's good. It's strong. It's fine. It works. You know what I mean? Now in the back, it actually has an additional hook handle, and this one is for hanging it, right? So if you want to hang it on anything, you get that back handle one. So it's nice that you have both. I really do like that. I feel like this could have been just ever so slightly smaller. This one here could have been just, the loop could have been just a bit smaller. But the nice thing about this is that it will actually fold over. So this length might actually be beneficial that it folds over like that, so that when you wear it, I have not had an experience of it tickling me at all or anything. Because sometimes, you know, extra straps and stuff tend to tickle you. This one does not do that. So yeah, it works. It does the job. Let me make sure. Yeah, microphone's working. So yeah, it works. It does the job, you know. Okay, now I'm actually going to remove this microphone here, because if I don't, I'm going to get a lot of noise. Okay, now as far as the sternum strap, this one, I ordered it kind of separately. I don't know if he now ships them with them. I think you might want to request it separately if you order it. But you can see I find that the sternum strap really is helpful, especially when the pack is full. It adds just that nice level of security and really just feels like it's hugging my sternum and my chest, and just sits there really nicely once I kind of add that sternum strap. So especially when the pack is full, I do tend to use the sternum strap. So yeah, that's that. Let's return the microphone. Okay, so what actually makes this pack tick for me? I have a very particular loadout whenever I'm doing my typical EDC. And when I mean EDC, for me, I live in the hills of Jerusalem. So I'm actually in kind of a little bit removed from the city. I used to live in the city, and I moved away out of the city. It just, this country is stressful to live in. So Yeah, I moved out to a little bit more of a peaceful area. And, you know, going into the city now is basically just for errands, if I have to deal with something, bureaucracy, some kind of shopping or something that I need to do in the city. So doctor's appointment, things like that. So really, I mean, I don't own a car currently, so for me it's public transportation. So it's kind of the basics, you know what I'm saying? So for me it's water, camera, so I'm a photographer, so I like to always have a little camera with me. Dop kit, I tend to be heavy on the hygiene stuff. Like I like to always be prepared in that department. And then I also have just like other smaller EDC stuff as well as a little snacks. I'll show you that all in a moment. So as far as the outside here, the type of zippers that are used is, this is the sort of the standard reverse coil YKK zipper here. Let's see, there we go. So you can see it's got that typical kind of nice zipper. I wouldn't say it's really that weather resistant. It's weather resistant. It's not crazy waterproof, but I've never had issues with water going in. You know, if it really starts pouring, I'm just going in a bus stop or I'm just taking a little shelter. You know what I'm saying? I'm not running in the rain endlessly. Like that's not what this pack is for. This is like your typical pack that will give you just enough protection for the elements for day to day. And if you really need extra, then of course you'll want like a roll top or something like that. But this is really more, it's going to give you adequate protection from the elements. Let's put it that way. Now, one thing that's really interesting about this pack that I really like is that it actually has 4 zippers. So it doesn't actually have just like your typical 2 zippers, you know what I'm saying? This one actually has 2 zippers here, but then on either side, I mean, you can position them obviously, but it makes sense for them to be here. It actually has an additional zipper here and an additional zipper over here. So what's the benefit of this? Well, this is actually a major usability advantage that I found because unlike other packs, if you want to access certain things that are kind of on the bottom, you kind of have to open it up, open the whole thing out, you know, take everything out and then access things that are kind of underneath here. However, with this one, what I love is it's super usable. So I'm out and about, right? And I want to grab my bottle of water. Bam. And I just go bam, bam. And I got my water. See what I'm saying? It's just so convenient that way. And I use this all the time. I love that feature. And it doesn't exist on packs. It barely exists on packs. Like I don't see that almost, which is very weird. You know, like it's such a simple usability advantage to have this. Same thing. I want to take a little quick picture, right? Bam. And I mean, in this case, I actually have my cube here, the Tenba, and I'll show you that again once we open it up. But I basically just have access. So again, if I open it up like that, back, bam, and I got my camera. Take that little snap, put it back in, close, move on with my day. How easy is that, right? I mean, it's so simple and so straightforward. So that's a huge plus, and that's actually one of the selling points. I was like, damn, this is perfect, this is great. My water, my camera, it's just so easy, so straightforward. But I still have access from the top as well. So if I really want to, I could still also, without having to move my zippers from here to here, I still have those extra. Now, what is the downside of this kind of system? The downside is that you have to be careful that your zippers are always positioned correctly. Otherwise, you can kind of forget that a zipper is in a certain position because there's 4 to worry about, meaning there's more of a chance for zippers to remain open, right? So there were times where I kind of realized, oh crap, I forgot to close one of the zippers. So it's sort of like I'm walking around and it's like partially open or something. And then I remember and I close it. I haven't lost anything from the pack, so that's been good so far. But yeah, it's definitely something that is worth kind of paying attention to, is just make sure that your zippers are always closed if you get this system. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Now, the standard pack actually comes with a hydration bladder opening. I believe that's what this is. I've never actually used it, but if you look here, you'll see right there. You see here, there's basically an opening, and this opening will allow you to technically, and there is actually a sleeve here, and again, I'll show you, double as a laptop thingy, but you could put a bladder in here technically, so you can actually use this as a pretty nice outdoorsy pack because you can get that hose in. Now, are you actually going to use it for that? This is an extremely versatile pack. Like if I had to keep only one pack in all of my collection, it would be this because it does everything. But I'm not sure if I would actually connect the bladder to it. First of all, I don't love bladders anyway. I'm a fan of stainless steel. I don't love drinking out of plastic. It's not the healthiest. But if you really are out there and you're doing your thing, it's more important to be hydrated than to worry about the chemicals. So connecting that little tube and connecting it here somehow, I'm sure there's a way to do it. You can do it with a little stretchy paracord and stuff. You can definitely do it. And yeah, it is nice that it has that ability. So that's cool. Now, another interesting thing about this pack is that, so the standard, so this is actually one of the things that are kind of one of the modifications that I made. It's not something that you could, that you'd normally have in the pack if you just got it regular, but I'll show it to you nonetheless. So the standard one actually comes with a kind of one of these, what are they called? Compression buckle strappy thingies. So basically it stops the zipper, right? So, which is nice. Now for me, I actually find that it's useful only in very specific scenarios. Like for example, if I'm hanging the pack up, let's say in a public restroom. So I'll take like a hero clip, I'll hang the pack up, right? Then I want to, let's say, open the pack from the top. I don't want to side open. I want to open from the top, right? If I don't have these side compressions attached, what will happen is it can actually just fall open completely, right? The whole thing can just fall open. So the nice thing about this is that it'll actually stop it from falling open. So it basically converts it almost into like a top loader of sorts, okay? You'll also notice that the zipper here is right in the middle, sort of in the middle. So it's not here and not here. A lot of times the pack has a zipper. I believe that's the case with GoRuck, is you'll have the zipper kind of closer to the front of the pack, whereas with this one, it's kind of split in the middle. So the way that you pack and just the strategy is slightly different. It has its advantages. I like that. The main reason that I like that is because for side access, again, which is something the GoRuck doesn't really have, so it's not really a concern, but for side, so let's put it this way. If you want to open it as a suitcase, right? So you want to just lay it out and open it up as a suitcase, then yeah, it makes sense for you to have as much panel here so that when you open it up, it's just the top, so it's like a little suitcase, right? However, because this pack is so versatile in that way that you can open it up on the sides, it makes sense that the zipper will be in the middle so that you can have perfect access to the contents right from here. Imagine if the zipper was up here, then that would be a little bit more awkward to grab things. So specifically things like camera, so like grabbing my camera here is just fantastic. I mean, it just opens so easily. This Tenba BYOB cube just is perfect at the bottom here, and just the ability to just grab it. You know, you just grab your, it's perfect. I love it. Okay, so this here, I mean, this is basically, so it comes with these, and I'm trying to remember if you can remove those, if you can open them. I believe it's a buckle of some sort, but I have a special system going on here that I actually helped kind of think up, and we kind of workshopped this solution together, Elias and I. And the reason for that is because I actually wanted something unique. And again, this is not available on the standard packs, and I doubt he's going to offer this as a feature for the general public. But who knows? Maybe you can convince him, you know what I'm saying? But generally speaking, I think it's not a standard feature, but I'll show it to you regardless. I actually wanted this desperately to work well as a pack that I could put over a suitcase, a handle, so that it can be my personal item on planes, and so I can put this over my large wheeled carry-on, my Briggs & Riley. So I'll show you, for example, you know, if we take this, I mean, this here is a pretty large suitcase. Actually, it's too heavy and large, so I can't really show that to you. Here, let's grab this one instead. So here we have my think tank, and this is the International Airport Security, so you could see that. So I wanted basically the ability to put it over, you know, like that, right? Now, it's very rare to find a pack that is this size that actually has an ability to just kind of put that over it. For some reason, I don't know, it's again one of these things that I kind of wish that they would have, but for some reason they don't have that in a lot of packs, and I don't understand why. But regardless, that's the way it is. So we put this on here and we want it to stay. So how do we do that? How do we actually do that? So what I came up with is this interesting solution. So what he did is he created this strip here, which acts as like a little pocket. And now we can actually open this up here, and it has this extra function, right? So I, regardless, don't always like these. I don't want them to always be there, and I didn't want them dangling either. The reason I don't always want them is because things like a larger camera or a larger bottle, you need to open it up pretty wide on the side to get it. So if I had this thing here kind of stopping it, then it would be annoying to grab my bottle. So yeah, so I often, usually my default is actually not to use these here. So the solution that we came up with is, and it solves 2 in 1. So the nice thing is, instead of having this just dangle around, right? I didn't say I don't want compressions at all. I want it, but I want it to serve a purpose for when I need it, those unique situations, like when it's hanging and I want that access from the top, right? Those situations. But for when I'm not using it, it can actually hide away in here. You see what I'm saying? So basically, you see, this is basically like a channel that we've created where we can tuck away these side compression. Now I say side compression, I don't know how much it really compresses in my case because of the way that it's designed with this hook, right? But I think that the standard one is not a hook, but rather is a buckle. But I may be wrong about that, but I believe that's the case. You can go, again, just go to his Instagram and take a closer look. I should have looked at that more carefully before I started this review, but it's something you can see pretty easily. So I believe it's a regular buckle. Anyway, so you open the compression straps for me now, and the way that I have it set is that you basically tuck it in here. However, when I go to an airport and I want to use it in that capacity, putting it over a handle, what I actually have here is pretty cool. So I'm going to grab it here. Hopefully I can find it. Let's see where, there it is. Okay, so what I have here is this little piece that we've developed. See, get a little focus. There we go. So you can see this little piece here is just a simple little strap with 2 loops. And the way it works is we'll take this, we'll connect these hooks, and we'll hook them on either side, just like this. And now I have this hook, this strap, and it's perfectly comes from both ends. And now I can simply put it right over my handle. And as you can see now, I mean, it just holds on to it beautifully. So I freaking love this thing, man. I mean, it's perfect. It's so perfect. I love this solution. And it's just, you could see why I love this pack so much. It's so tailored to my use cases and for how I like my pack to be. It's out of the way when I don't need it. It's right there when I do need it. It's just, it's fantastic. Elias, thank you, dude. You made me the perfect pack. I'm so appreciative. But yeah, I've been using this now for so long, and it's just so far hasn't failed me. It just works every single time. So that's this little solution. But again, it's a custom feature that I don't know if he'll do, but maybe. Anyway, so that's kind of the side compression. Now, another thing that we did as a result of that side compression is, since the normal one would have a buckle from here and a buckle from here, and then they just kind of disconnect with a regular buckle, for me, it just comes from one side and hooks on here. But that hook, which remains kind of empty most of the time, is just this little extra hook. What makes this tiny hook so great is that you can actually connect to it various things. You can do a carabiner. Sorry about that, guys. That was the battery died. Anyway, so as you can see, I basically have a cap hooked on here now, which makes it very convenient and just really simple, and boom. Just like that, it works, you know? And now, the nice thing also is that because this loop is actually quite small, I can also, and I did this on purpose, you can also connect things like sunglasses. So a lot of times, I'll want to have my sunglasses just kind of on the side of the pack. And I find, now I think someone mentioned that my sunglasses were kind of falling out the other day, so I don't know how effective it really is, but so far they haven't got lost, so that's good. But basically what I would do is I take that and just put those sunglasses in there. You can even do a double, that way it should be more secure. So now I have the sunglasses on there, and because the loop is fairly small, I'm not really worried that it'll fall out, because it's just such a small, tight kind of loop in there that it holds the glasses pretty well, actually. So boom, just like that. So I now have everything I need. You know what I'm saying? I got a whole EDC thing going on here, and I'm just good to go. Like I'm ready to run. Like I can do the whole thing now. I feel empowered. Like I have a pack that just reaches my lumbar here right perfectly. Not exactly sure what's going on here, to be honest. The thing keeps switching off. This is why it's so hard for me to film. I bought all the equipment, and it's still, everything seems to always break down on me. So I don't know what's going on. Hopefully it'll work. I don't know. Hopefully it recorded, but it keeps switching off. And anyway, so, okay, let's take a look now at the insides of the packs, just so I can give you a sense of how the thing actually, how you load everything out. Okay, let's go. Okay, so let's take a look. So we now have here the pack, and it's laid out. So let's take off these little guys here. Let's take the glasses off, and let's show you how this thing actually works. So here we have the pack. Now, in the front, we open it up, and we actually have this big pocket. This pocket is quite large. It has some depth to it as well, just a bit of depth here. So as you can see, just kind of a nice amount. And I actually find that this pocket is a little bit difficult to find things in, especially if you kind of have a lot of little loose items. It's a little bit hard to find stuff in. So you have to kind of pack in a way that's a little bit organized, I would say. You know, this is like a pouch that I take everywhere. This is like my base pouch. I have a whole pouch system, which I'll discuss in the future. But basically, this is like ID, tissues, alcohol wipes, you know, toothpicks, things that I'm just constantly reaching for. This is going to be in here, and I just move this from pack to pack. Next up, I actually have in here my wallet. Another thing that I just reach for a lot. So this is my kind of my wallet. And then here I have a little pouch that actually contains my EDC tools and supplements. So this is like a little knife, a little stressful city times, calls for some lavender oil sniffing. So that's nice. And then I actually have here portable scissors. So I just got these. They're actually kind of fun. I don't know, they're kind of cheap, but they work basically like that. Boom, and that turns into scissors. So I don't know, I found that scissors is a tool I often want, even more than a knife. But I do also have a knife, although this is kind of that cutter type knife. So it's kind of, I don't know, it works. It's for box cutting and stuff like that, you know. I don't know, I don't find that a regular knife is that useful for me day to day, living that kind of going into the city and stuff. And I have another little Leatherman and some other things, a little supplement tube here and a little pen. So yeah, this is kind of just like a useful thing to have, and it fits nicely in the front. So as you can see, this has volume, but it still fits in the front. So that's good. I got my AirPods, and this is the example of the type of thing that tends to kind of just float around there a bit. Now there are two pockets for organization, but they are pretty flush and they don't fit a whole lot. And then there's this extra area here. There's more compartment on top of it. So it just depends how you pack. It's quite roomy, but it's sort of things just float around in there a bit. So you kind of have to know your sensory way and know how to do it. This is my charging pouch. So I got a little battery charger. I got a cable, and I got a car charger, as well as a small little PD anchor charger as well. So this is just a little pouch. This is from Pocket Up, and it works really well as like my all-purpose kind of, if you're stuck somewhere, kind of pouch for charging my phone. Next, I actually have here a little Matador blanket. This is a sort of a pocket size, like a personal size. Whoops, that fell. And basically, that allows me to sit anywhere outside. This is just more crap, and that doesn't matter. And then I also have here, actually, I do have a knife. This is a Spidey Chef knife. So this is the Spidey Chef by Spyderco, and it's really nice, just simple knife that is very sharp because I just sharpened it, but it works super well, and it cuts my fruit and shit whenever I go outside. And last but not least, I actually have here a hero clip. The hero clip obviously, as you could see, works really well. So let's try, for example, to hang it. So as you can see, it hangs no problem from places. I actually prefer the larger size. I don't know why I don't have the larger size in here now, but the large works best, I find, for surfaces that need that extra gripping for like thicker ledges and stuff. But yeah, so that's pretty much what I have in the front here. Now, let's look at the top. Whoops. Okay, so this here is the top. And this is actually quite roomy as well. Now, Elias did actually remove an inch from this size here since the latest iteration is slightly shorter, but it's still quite roomy, surprisingly so for a top pocket. This is nothing like the GoRuck where it's very, very limited and you kind of barely have room to slip your hand. And this is really has its own kind of independent volume. So I actually have two 24/7 bags in here, and these, I'm sure all of you know by now, they're deployable bags that allow you to just transport groceries and other things that you need whenever you have extra stuff. You just put them on your shoulder. And I find that if you wear these first and then put your pack over it and then close your sternum strap, it's actually incredible how effectively that holds your bags in place and allows you to really schlep groceries back home. Walking, I tend to walk a lot. I tend to prefer to use my body whenever I can, as opposed to relying on various types of wheels. So this is really a good bag for people who are active because it's comfortable, it's not too big, but still holds everything. And let's open up the main compartment now. So shall we? Let's go. Here we go. Boom, boom, boom. How about that? So as you can see here, I actually have it all packed out. This is a typical loadout. This is, I would say, maybe a winter loadout, if you will. So I actually have here, let's start from the bottom. I have a small cube. This here is the Tenba BYOB7, I believe. And inside I have my small Olympus OMD EM1 camera. I also sometimes will stick my GoPro in there, or a little blower, you know, one of those air blowers. Just anything will fit in there as well. And it's a nice grab and go camera. I got the 15 millimeter. This is the Leica Panasonic lens, which is compact. I like it. And it's just a nice way to do street photos, street photography, you know, it's just fun. This is not what I shoot with professionally, but it's just a fun camera to have day to day. Next, I have here in the middle on the bottom, the Seal line. This is like a highly water resistant pouch. And what I like is that it's actually, the reason I bought it is not for its water resistant properties, but rather for its perfect size. I find this is kind of an ideal size for a small kind of day out dop, I call this. This is my day out dop. So this is my base pouch where I take everywhere, no matter what, sling, whatever. Even if I go out for 10 minutes, I'm usually taking this. Again, because I always need to maybe blow my nose. I always maybe need to got something stuck in my teeth, you know, so it's nice to have like the basic. But this is the upgraded. This is kind of like if I'm going out for more than a couple of hours. And this will already have the ability to wash my face, to put eye drops, to moisturize properly, to have just a couple more pills like you know, headache pills and a few other items, some bug repellent, some SPF, things like that that I may need throughout the day. This is still not my overnight pouch, but it actually functions as like my day out pouch. So it's like one step up. So I take both if I want to have full setup there. Next, I actually have here the Tough Possum Gear pouch, and this is quite a large one. Takes up a lot of space here, as you can see, but it is great because it will hold my Rab, you know, my puffy, basically. This is a puffy jacket. It's a down jacket. It's a full-size down jacket, and I just smush that whole thing in there, and it actually will hold it. So if it gets chilly, and now with here in Jerusalem, the temperature is just all over the place, so I will take that. And as it gets cooler in the evenings, I'll just you know, deploy that, so that's great. Next, I actually have the Hydro Flask. This is the 40 ounce, I want to say. I think it's the 40 ounce or 1.2 liters. And I just take this with my water and we'll basically just grab that on the go if I want to drink water. So that's kind of the primary. Now, if I want to though, I could actually take a laptop, and that's in the back here. Now, admittedly, it will make things pretty tight because if I already have a full loadout like this, adding the laptop it'll make it pretty tight, but it will fit. So let's grab it. So as you can see over here, I have my 16-inch MacBook Pro. This is the last Intel version, but I think it's still the same size, more or less, 16-inch, and it will actually just fit. So it fits really nice, boom, just like that. And it fits, it works. I mean, it does the job. There used to be a Velcro that would close up on that, and he stopped doing that. I'm not sure exactly why. I think there was some rationale. I forget exactly what it was. If you look closely over here, you could see made in USA. That's really cool. And then, like I said, here you have a little hook, so you could put a bladder in there and hook a bladder from there, or you could put your laptop in there. Now, how protected is it? Well, there is padding on the back. This is padded, sort of. This is on the front here. This is very thick and padded. But on the very bottom, let's see. We go down to the bottom. It doesn't have a ton of protection, but I'm not worried. Like, it's enough. Like, it doesn't feel like it's super. I can kind of feel the bottom of it, but I'm just not worried. I find that laptops are pretty durable, and as long as you place it kind of gently, it should it works fine. It protects it. You know what I'm saying? It's but if you're extra, if you want a little extra careful with your bag, then maybe you want to put a little microfiber on the bottom, roll it up, and then you have a little extra buffer. But otherwise, I think it's pretty good. Pretty well protected. Now, an interesting thing here on the bottom is it actually will have here this insert. So this is an insert that comes with the pack, and it actually allows you it adds rigidity and a nice strong bottom to the pack, makes it able to better stand up on its own. And whether or not it stands up on its own, honestly, I don't test that very often, but I think it does generally as long as you pack it well. But when you remove this, I mean, obviously it diminishes that ability, but what it does do is it makes the pack lighter, and it just, I don't know, it just changes the characteristic of the pack. Now the pack is way more packable if you want to travel with it, and it removes some structure from the pack. And another interesting thing that this will do is now you can actually put this in the middle, and then you can put that kind of over here full, and I finally managed to do this review, so if you liked it, give it a thumbs up, give it a subscribe, give it whatever the hell you like. And yeah, I'll do more reviews. But this is my favorite EDC pack at the moment, and I believe that it will remain so for years to come. I'm not really a huge fan of kind of this whole sort of throwing packs, buying, selling endlessly. Now that I live far away from the US, the consumerist culture has diminished for me in my mind a bit, and I'm just more focused on buying things that work for me and staying with them. So maybe it won't be as many reviews, but the reviews will be higher quality because it means I've actually used them. So yeah, if that's something that you enjoy, then give me a sub, and hopefully more to come. Anyway, guys, hope you've enjoyed this, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.